All right. Sober October interview number 2, Topher Scheel. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
All right. Can you just list your name, living, where you grew up, give us a quick background, who you are?
Sure. My name's Topher Scheel, Christopher. I live in Fairfield, Connecticut. Um, I kind of grew up between the USA and the UK. I went to boarding school in the UK. My mother's British. Been back in the US since 1999. That's it. I'm 51 years old. I know Carl from playing rugby.
All right. You don't look a day over 45.
Thank you.
At what point did your health and wellness become like a really relevant and kind of something you had to focus on? You couldn't keep investing everything the way that you used to.
I got sober, quit drinking, and everything on August 20th, 2012. And slowly from there, then I just focused on quitting drinking at that point. And I'd quit smoking in my early 20s. I realized that was bad. And then after about 6 months of being sober, I realized I really hadn't lost any weight, but I'd taken out 2,000 calories a day of booze. And then I figured, oh, this is ridiculous. I got to start watching my diet. And I basically was just eating a lot of sugar, like ice cream. Like if I wanted to drink it like 4 or 5 in the afternoon, at happy hour, I would go to Sunny Days and get an ice cream.
Okay, so originally to quit drinking, you went to another vice. You went right.
Yeah. I didn't stop myself. I was just like, you know what, not drinking is bad enough.
Yeah.
That's why not clear. So then I drank the coffee, I kind of transitioned, and then you know what, I really started getting into spinning for a while.
Like cycling?
Yeah, spin classes. So I did that as part of my Edge membership. And I was kind of like, it got me in a routine of doing like cardio classes and stuff. And then about 6 or 7 years ago, Percy was, down under fitness at the HIIT workout. He was just kind of harassing me, like, you gotta get your ass in here, So and I just started doing that, and that really. Then once I did that, I did a Whole30. They don't do it so much anymore. They're big into the Whole30 diet, which is kind of a lot like what you're doing right now. And so like the first month I joined, I did a Whole30, and had some good success with that, and I've done a few of those since.
Cool. So explain for anyone who doesn't know what Whole30 is.
Whole30 is no dairy, no wheat, no added sugar, no added sweeteners. So kind of whole foods, without grains and dairy. So it's the idea is that you're getting inflammation from things, I guess, and then you're meant to. Here's why I kind of failed with Whole30. You're meant to add things back in step by step, like okay, I'm gonna add a piece of bread in and see how that makes me feel. But I literally would go out on the 31st day and get a fucking, excuse my French, get a blizzard or something. You know what I mean? So I'd have the dairy, the sugar, and the flour, the Kit Kat that was in it or whatever. But I tell you the one good thing I've always done since my first Whole30 is I've never had a drop of any kind of whitener or sweetener in my coffee ever again. I've always stuck to black coffee ever since then. So that's the one residual effect I've had. So.
All right. So when you were during Whole30, did you notice any changes with your body? Anything that?
I probably lost 7 or 8 pounds. I slept great. You go through ups and downs. Like it's tough to start, then you feel good. Then day 12, you get a bit like sick of it. And you kind of get back into it again. But we're really just sleeping and energy. I really did feel good. It's just, well, you know what it's like with this sugar thing, right? Like the added sugar, like you can't have a salad in a restaurant. You can't have a sauce in a restaurant. You literally, I mean, you just can't go out to eat. I mean, basically, I mean, you can, but it's not worth it. Because like,
right, yeah, because
you're always like, you know, they put, you know, they were trying to make things taste good. They put sugar in everything. So,
yeah.
you know, you literally can't eat out. So that was my one thing. Like, you know, like you know, like I'd go to Ralph and Rich's and get a ribeye, and then I'd be like, okay, well, you know, I can't have the mashed potatoes. You know, they're gonna have cream in them, and you know, it's like, what do you have with it? You know, it's just like, so it was a little tricky. But yeah, it's very similar to what you're doing now.
Yeah. Well, I haven't cut out dairy at all. I'm still eating cheese, but yeah. So just these guys over here. I still like dairy. I know that if I eat too much of it, like if I haven't eaten ice cream in a while, and it's, you know, you say you go to ice cream, for me that messes me up pretty good, and I can feel it almost instantly. So stay away from that. But yeah, I mean, I've cut out dairy completely before, and I definitely noticed that when adding it back in, you know, a little bit, I can feel a little bit of something wrong.
It can give you congestion too, like
yeah,
you know, and stuff like that. So you know, it's you know, it's tough, and like, you know, you always like, you're not even allowed to have quinoa on Whole30.
Wow, didn't know that. Is that grain?
The grain. I mean, it's not as bad as, but there's degrees. Like eating flour, white flour is the worst. Like you're not meant to have rice either. So you guys eat, like, originally you weren't even allowed to have potatoes. But now they allow potatoes. So you know, so you see a ton of potatoes and sweet potatoes.
Interesting. Potatoes have such a high glycemic index number too.
I don't think that's what it's about. I think it's more about, it's a bit like paleo. It's like super paleo, I guess.
Got it. All right. Well, next question. So for drinking specifically, what keeps your focus going? Like what keeps you off the booze?
You know, I'm quite involved with helping other alcoholics and drug addicts. And so I have a network. It's like, you know, it's kind of like this becomes part of the way I live my life. You know what I mean? You know, checking in on people check in, you know, helping people out who are struggling.
Yeah.
So
well,
just, you know, it's just it's a whole thing. It's like you know, it's kind of like a under the scene. You know, you see people like failing and having bad consequences, and so it keeps you focused. It's been harder through the lockdown, just because you can't really see anybody face to face. So you got to remember to pick up the phone and call people, check in and stuff. You know, there's a lot of people struggling out there, especially with alcohol and opioids.
yeah,
you know,
I think
that keeps you focused.
Yeah, I think whether you know it or not, being around the Yankees and seeing that you are sober and seeing that, or being a team that would drink heavily all the time, and then seeing somebody who doesn't, who's still living like a pretty productive life and in good spirits, has been at least an inspiration for me, and I'm sure it's been for other people as well.
Yeah. I mean, I just you know, just the way I live my life. I drink all the time. I mean, I would drink all the time. It's just, you know, rugby was part of that. Everything I did: fishing, drinking, skiing, fishing, going out for dinner, drinking. You know, I mean, it's just like, you know, everything was just drinking. Yeah. And you know, it's hard when you take that big hole out of that part of your life out. You know what I mean? You got to find out who you are now. You know what I mean? And you know, that was your pretty much everything you did. So you got to fill that hole, and it's tough. It's tough to start. And again, especially with I quit when I was 42 or 43. A classic midlife crisis age, actually. But to see the young kids quit and try and get sober at like 22, 23, 19, you know, it's amazing. Like, it's got to be so hard for them, you know, their friends going out, you know, they just can't do it. So
yeah, well,
it was just time for me.
As long as, you know, it depends. I guess it doesn't really matter at what age you did it, as long as you did it, and then you can show somebody who's even younger, and then they can do it for themselves. And it's kind of a perpetual step of learning yourself and knowing what works for you.
Right.
Looking forward to better health choices.
And I still hang out with my friends, you know, like I share my boat with Duncan, who enjoys the cocktail.
Yeah.
And I've around it a lot, you know, you just figure out ways to do it.
True. All right. So, can you boil down to one tip for somebody that wants to avoid drinking when they're around friends?
Oh, there's when they're around friends. It's not gonna sound. It's gonna sound bad in a way, but like a lot of times you just gotta go late, leave early, take your own car. Don't get locked into situations because you'll end up getting frustrated. Like if you ever see me at the Yankee event, I'll leave at 10. Yeah. And everybody will get shit faced, like after an All Boys game or something. And then the next day, like, oh, what time do you leave? Like midnight? Or no one really knows. You just kind of take off, And so
the old Irish.
Yeah, because I love being around it. I just don't like to be around it for that long. Actually, it's funny. If everyone stays in one bar, I just get bored after a while. If people are for bar hopping, I actually quite like it because I want to see what's going on in the next bar. And I was kind of like, because I don't do it that often, so then I would stay out later. But if we're just in one bar, like we're in O'Malley's for all afternoon, like watching rugby, and then in the evening I just get the rugby's over, I'm out. So so you can still see people, you still hang out for as long. Nothing good happens at midnight anyway.
That's what I heard. That's you're slowly learning that in my own life too. All right, so another question for you. What meal would you say makes you the happiest?
The next one? I don't know.
That's a good answer.
I guess you gotta say dinner. It's I tend to eat, like I'm on the road a lot, so I tend just to eat a lot of times crap on the road, just pick up sandwiches and stuff. But dinner, my girlfriend's a good cook. I cook a lot, so it's like kind of an event usually. It's like we talk about what's for dinner at like first thing in the morning. Like I'm going here, you're going there. Oh, great, get this from there.
All right. So dinner, any particular meal, any food?
We eat a lot of chicken. My girlfriend's also watching her weight, so she's great at cooking all the pastas, but she really tries not to. So from April through November, I certainly grill like pretty much I would say 80% of the time. So it's steaks, pork loins, chicken, salmon,
all the good stuff.
Lamb, I'm constantly grilling. And then like potato and vegetables. So it's just it's pretty much. That's pretty much it. And then I gotta have a little bit. It's kind of a British thing, but on Sundays, I always like to do like a roast in the oven, like pork shoulder, rib of beef, turkey, something, like a roast meal. But
oh man, you're making me hungry. Thinking about a roast chicken right now. All right.
Actually, it's funny, and I don't anymore know what's in them. Whenever I drive by Costco, I always stop and get the rotisserie chickens because they're so good.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure they got add sugar on them. I'm sure they're so.
They're so good.
No, they're unbelievable. And for $5, you can't beat them.
Yeah. Oh, seriously.
I will just go in and get two. Every time I go by, I just go in and get two. It's cheaper than buying roast turkey for lunch.
Yeah. All right. So you support and encourage a lot of people. Where do you go for support and encouragement?
I just know a lot of sober people, who are more like longer sobriety than me. It's funny. You get some people who seem like they're more sober than you, who actually have less sobriety. Like just more committed to it. Like it's like it's a bigger part of their life. Like it's a part of my life, but it's not like as big as other people's. You know what I mean? Like I don't do as much. It's like what I'm saying is they'll do more service, I guess. Like it's kind of
you can reach out to them and
right. So just and the people you're helping help you too. You know what I mean? You're gonna have a responsibility to them. Like you're helping some kid who's struggling with heroin addiction. You can't very well go home and have a glass of wine yourself at night. You know what I mean? It's a bit like. So I think it all helps keep you sober. There's actually in lockdown. I found some online sobriety groups on Facebook and stuff, and it's good. You start chatting with people. People are struggling. you know, and so, you know, just you know, continue to reach out.
All right. So final question for you. If you could have anybody do a TED talk on sobriety, on alcoholism, any sort of drug addiction or anything, who would you?
I've seen a few. Chris Herron from the Boston Celtics was absolutely amazing. And if you go on to Netflix and watch the 30 for 30 Unguarded, I think it is, about his life, it is phenomenal. But this guy, his first start for the Celtics, in his Celtics sweats, warming up, his warm-up, they're shooting baskets, was dope sick. His dealer was stuck in traffic. He went out of the garden and scored his pills from his dealer on the street, and then came back in the garden and scored 23 points.
Wow.
It's just like, but anyway, that was like a funny bit, but I guess very serious.
Yeah.
Chris Harrell was an amazing one. I saw Daryl Strawberry. I saw speak, which was good. He was good. He's a little more of a Jesus freak, which is fine. But it was hard for me to relate to, and in that respect, you know, it's just the way he got sober. You know, I'd love to see Robert Downey Jr. speak. You know, because he's you know, he's I mean, if you look at his background, where he was to where he is pretty phenomenal. You know, from literally doing hard time to like the biggest actor in the world. You know, it's you know, he started doing drugs when he was 8. You know, it's so yeah, I guess Robert Downey Jr. I'd love to see him talking about it. You know.
Wow. Yeah, I would love to hear that too. That sounds fascinating. All right. Well, unless you have anything else you'd like to share, that would be it.
No, I'm really, you know, I'm just going to be honest, and because you know, to let myself be true, as we say in sobriety, I didn't give out caffeine for this challenge. My main thing was just getting off. And I'm sure I've had some added sugar by mistake. My main thing was just getting off I was being lax by going out for ice cream and eating sweets and just like, you know, ever since I quit drinking, it's been my Achilles heel. So, sweet. So this has been good for me, just to like, if I can just accomplish that, which I have so far. But I had one sweet since October 1st.
Well, congratulations! I'm so happy. I cannot thank you enough for taking the time out to do this with me.
No, thank you. Appreciate it, Carl. Thanks for all you've done for all of us.
Oh no, thank you. Yeah, you as well, Philip, man. It's been great talking to you, and I'll talk to you later.